Hey everybody, this is Izzy here coming to you with my review for Zombieland Double Tap, the sequel to the 2009 horror comedy Zombieland. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the nitty-gritty details of this review. Once again, it will be spoiler-free. Zombieland Double Tap is a sequel to the 2009 horror comedy film Zombieland with Woody Harrelson, Abigail Breslin, Emma Stone, and Jesse Eisenberg. And Zombieland, at the time, the zombie craze was beginning to become a huge thing, and it more or less brought the zombie craze to, I don't want to say a fever pitch, but it made people think about the whole concept of a zombie apocalypse in a much different fashion. You had a lot of people who had this faint idea that a zombie apocalypse would be fun, but they decided, let's go ahead and make this film with the Zombieland, zombie apocalypse concept, and give it a sense of excitement, to give it a sense of comedy, and it did remarkably well, and it turned out to be one of my favorite zombie films. The sequel, I was a bit on the fence about it because of the fact that it takes place so long, it's released so long after the first film, and the zombie craze isn't as big as it once was when The Walking Dead started to become popular, and The Walking Dead, you know, obviously it's starting to lose some significant popularity, and like I said, I was a bit on the fence about it because I wasn't exactly sure. When you have a film that's taken place or was being released 10 years after the first film, you find yourself wondering, well, what's the point of even having a sequel then? Because it's not. It would have been better if they released it when the zombie craze was still at a fever pitch, but what can you do? The sequel involves Tallahassee, Columbus, Wichita, and Little Rock. They're continuing their journey in the zombie apocalyptic world where they're keeping each other company, they're entertaining one another and finding ways to get on each other's nerves, and the fact that they're constant bantering between each other, and along with them coming forth with some innovative zombie kills. It's a very refreshing and familiar, entertaining film, and perhaps that's what makes it so great is the fact that they're not trying to experiment with something that they shouldn't have been experimenting with, and the fact that, once again, it's familiar. It's not trying to steer into a different direction that will ultimately alienate the viewers, and the fact that it still has that same Zombieland tone, that same Zombieland comedy, that same over-the-top nature of what makes Zombieland so unique and exciting and entertaining and funny. And I have to say, I have to kind of give this one a slight nudge over the first one, just because of the fact that when you have a film that, but at least with its predecessor, that is so remarkably good that you find yourself wondering how exactly can they top what makes the first one so unique and special. But they slightly did it with this one just because of the fact that it's so much more funnier than the first one. The chemistry is obviously there with the actors, and some of the funniest scenes actually involves with the fact that they come up with these new terms as to how the zombies have evolved and what makes them so lethal. And I don't want to give any spoilers, but you'll see what I'm talking about when you actually watch this film, because it goes into uncharted new territory that makes it so darn hilarious. I can't stress enough how much more funnier this film is, in my opinion, compared to the first one. It's not taking anything away from the first Zombieland. The first Zombieland is absolutely amazing, but this one just goes into a new level of hilarity that I simply can't get enough of. And the fact that also it has a little bit more character development that allows you to become more familiar and more emotionally connected with the characters. Woody Harrelson does an amazing job. Emma Stone does an amazing job. Jesse Eisenberg is his usual awkward, fast-talking self and pure-hearted and good-natured individual who just happens to be in a world of chaos and unpredictability. And Abigail Breslin does a remarkable, amazing job as a rebellious teenager who has attempted to find her place in the world without having to constantly be around her family, if you will. And you have new characters that are being introduced, and they provide some necessary humor as well. Rosario Dawson as Nevada does. She's hilarious in the film as well. Oh man, I can't stress enough how much I love this Zombieland Double Tap. The evolution of the zombies that come into play, you actually see in full force in one of the scenes that is. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that was just a one shot scene, because it was just how they filmed it, and the action in that scene was just so hilarious, and the fact that how they're trying to go about avoiding these zombies while attempting to save their own lives in the process and improvise just makes it so special. It was hilarious. I found myself on the edge of my seat and laughing as the scene was transpiring before my eyes. And you can't simply get enough of the fact that while on top of the violence and the profanity and the blood and the guts and the gore, there's a lot of character development and heartwarming moments that make you feel, as I said, you emotionally connect with these characters that you didn't necessarily forget about in the first film, but you find yourself cheering for them, and you find yourself wanting to be a part of their chemistry bonded group. And that's what makes Zombieland Double Tap so unique and so special, in my opinion. I simply cannot recommend it. I mean, cannot recommend it enough, my friends. It's just absolutely what you're looking for, as far as, especially after the success of, for example, The Joker, a very dark and depressing and gritty film. It's nice to have a film that's also dark and gritty, but at the same time, there's a lot of humor and heart behind it. And I love Zombieland Double Tap. I have to give it a 2 thumbs up. I really do. I honestly, God, have to give it a 2 thumbs up. Especially how, I must admit, my expectations were a bit low because, as I said, I wasn't exactly sure what they were going to work, in which direction they were going to go in, and maybe the fact that if they ventured away too far from what made it so remarkable, if that was going to make it, I guess the best way I could put it, for example, when the first Hangover came out, how special and how hilarious that was. Then when the Hangover 2 came out, it was still funny, but it didn't have that same magic. And then you had Hangover 3 that came out, and Hangover 3 was just absolutely horrendous. I hate that film. But Zombieland 2 it succeeds in being that much more funnier and being that much more unique and being that much more special. And I have to recommend it, my friends. I really do. And also be sure to stay for the scene during the credits, because it's absolutely one of the greatest post-credit scenes that you'll ever watch. It's absolutely remarkable. I'm not going to give away any spoilers with that one, but you do have to watch it. I am going to go ahead and give Zombieland Double Tap 2 thumbs up, my friends, from your Sumter Film Critic. I don't know which next film I'm going to review, but I'll be sure to let you guys know. Either way, go see Zombieland 2 and let me know what you think in the comment section. And provide a like and let me know on my face what you thought about it. Either way, take care, my friends. Be safe, and I will see you again. Take care. Adios.